Tonight, a slow vaccination process. Why some experts say the U.S. is falling behind in distribution after expectations fell short. Plus, after a year of making adjustments and changes, colleges are now planning ahead for the spring semester, what students should expect. And 2020 saw more traffic-related deaths on Minnesota roads than the year before. We're hearing from state troopers on the reason behind that.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Thanks for joining us. More than 4 million people in the U.S. have received their first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. That's short of the 20 million vaccinations the federal government repeatedly promised to have delivered by December of 2020. Some experts say the United States needs to speed up the COVID-19 vaccination process. Right now, vaccines are being given to healthcare employees, long-term care patients, and in some places, essential workers. Officials are hoping to have them available to more of the general public soon. Meanwhile, Minnesota is trying to speed up its vaccination efforts. State health officials say it's taken longer than expected to vaccinate healthcare workers and long-term care residents and staff. As of today, more than 78,000 doses have been administered across the state. That's less than 30% of the doses Minnesota was allocated. Here in the Twin Ports, Essentia spokespeople say they surpassed 3,000 doses at their Duluth campus today. They say not all Essentia employees have been vaccinated yet, but they're moving through their list as efficiently as possible. They wouldn't say how many doses they have on hand. Meanwhile, St. Luke's has vaccinated 2,000 employees, calling it a quick process. To help them stay on the job, Superior firefighters started getting vaccinated for COVID-19 today. According to Fire Chief Scott Gordon, 18 people received the Moderna vaccination this morning at Essentia's Superior campus. The department worked with Douglas County Health and Essentia to get everything scheduled. Gordon tells us it feels great to be taking this step in the right direction. 18 other members will be vaccinated on Wednesday. Another client at the Minnesota Sex Offender Program in Moose Lake has died of COVID-19. Officials say it happened on New Year's Day. Due to patient data privacy laws, the state could not release any more details. This is the third COVID-related death at the facility since the start of the pandemic. In a statement, the state's Commissioner of Human Services said they extend their sympathy to family and friends of the person. Officials say currently there are no active cases of COVID-19 among clients in MSOP facilities. With the start of a new year, Twin Ports college campuses are getting ready for the spring semester. Now, some of those schools are using what they learned from the fall semester and changing things up for the spring. CBS3's Emma Quinn spoke with Lake Superior College and St. Scholastica officials about what their students can expect.
Campuses across the Twin Ports are evaluating their fall semesters where COVID-19 precautions were in full effect and looking ahead to the spring semester. Those at Lake Superior College say the fall semester went better than expected.
More than half of our classes were online, but we still had between a quarter and half of our usual classes either kind of that hybrid option or completely on campus.
Some programs simply weren't able to be held in a remote model like the auto, aviation, and manufacturing programs. Instead, they were held in larger facilities with smaller class sizes.
The students kind of liked what we were able to do, which is maybe the size of the classes weren't going to be as big as they usually would be, but we pride ourselves on being pretty small classes anyways.
For the spring semester, many students asked for more on-campus opportunities. They'll be offering more on-campus tutoring and hybrid learning models for liberal arts and general education classes. For those at St. Scholastica, like in the fall, they'll be starting the semester off in the classroom, but are ready to make adjustments as needed.
We were looking at everything from course caps, classroom sizes, looking at down to the level of detail of how many chairs and desks we can fit into a particular space.
Academic officials say with student feedback and on-the-spot training helped them learn what was and wasn't working.
What was happening in the first week, in the third week, in the fifth week, et cetera, to try and provide more competencies to those faculty to best meet student needs.
Fanning said they had some students test positive for COVID this fall, but most were students learning online. St. Scholastica said they also had a small percentage of cases on campus. The University of Wisconsin-Superior is one step closer to launching its brand new state-of-the-art floating classroom. UWS and the Lake Superior Research Institute received a big boost. Two alumni will match donations up to $100,000. That money will go toward planning for and buying a boat, which will be home to the floating classroom. It will allow students to study the lake while out on the water. Anyone interested in supporting the project can contact the UW Superior Foundation. Dave's here for a quick look at the weather. Dave, some snow across the region this morning.
But really just light stuff. Didn't add up to too much, and already it's taking off and may stay gone for much of the week. First of all, let's start with a wrap of 2020's temperatures. And after we did all the hemming and hawing and calculating of highs versus lows, we came up with 41.3 degrees for the year 2020. The normal mean temperature is 39.7, so our departure from normal was plus 1.6 degree. There are some sources that indicate January 2020 could come up 2 degrees cooler than normal, but you wouldn't be able to tell from the week ahead. We'll stay warmer than normal for pretty much 7 of the next 7 days. So we eye up the upper Midwest situation. And there go those flurries Kristen was talking about. Narrow trough of lower pressure already exiting to the east. So what's coming in behind then? After tonight with a partly cloudy sky, we get a partly sunny sky for Tuesday, but then clouds will filter in from that low pressure system coming in from the west. But higher pressure in the middle part of the U.S. down to the south may not be strong enough to chase away all the clouds like we had last week, but it could keep the progression of that low at bay until Saturday. That may be the next day we get a snow chance. Short-term forecast says our day planner for Tuesday says we start partly cloudy, but finish mostly cloudy. The high temp at 28, about 10 degrees warmer than normal. We'll talk about that temperature trend and how long it'll stick around, if you'll stick around, for a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. More people died on Minnesota roads last year. That's according to new data today from the state's Department of Public Safety. In 2020, there were close to 300 traffic deaths. That's 30 more than in 2019. According to the state's Traffic Safety Office, speeding on less busy roads during the pandemic was a big factor.
There was less traffic, there's less congestion, there's a lot more lane space, and quite honestly, drivers abused that significantly.
According to the data, more than 1,000 Minnesota drivers were stopped for driving more than 100 miles per hour. That's an increase of more than 95% from 2019. Police are still searching for the man wanted in connection to the deadly shooting of a Fond du Lac teenager. Police are looking for 18-year-old Joseph Forencam. He's from the Cloquet area. A warrant for second-degree manslaughter has been issued for his arrest. 16-year-old Joseph Peterson died in the shooting 1 week ago today. According to court documents, witnesses told police Forencam was waving the gun around when it fired. Anyone with information on the case is asked to call 911 or the St. Louis County Sheriff's Office. Hundreds of protesters marched in Minneapolis to demand justice following a fatal police shooting. The shooting of 23-year-old Dalal Eid is the city's first police-involved death since George Floyd died in May. More than 1,000 demonstrators marched and chanted yesterday near the site where Eid was killed. The shooting happened last Wednesday during an attempted felony traffic stop. Police released the officer's body camera video and said it showed Eid fired his gun first. Firefighters spent the morning battling a blaze at an abandoned Duluth home. It happened near 20th Avenue and West 3rd Street in the Lincoln Park neighborhood. No one was hurt. Damage is estimated to be around $30,000. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, in 2020, many local events were canceled, but one popular event is changing its ways to ensure the race will go on. We have the details next.
19 degrees is our normal high temperature. Today it rose to the occasion, hit 33, and likely will stay warmer than normal for the next week. Warm enough to melt off the precious snow we've gathered so carefully here this season. I'll let you know with the 7-day forecast in just a few more minutes.
Live, local, CBS 3 News at 6 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS 3.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show!
This winter, beat the cold with an Up North hat. Michigan-made, these warm hats are expertly stitched with soft fabric, perfect for protecting you from whatever Mother Nature throws your way. Visit our website today at upnorthhats.com.
DBS, your all things basement-y company. Does your home have uneven or sloping floors? How about cracked drywall, stair-stepping cracks, or bowed basement walls? You may have a problem with your foundation. Call the specialists at DBS. They thoroughly inspect your property and provide a permanent solution to your foundation problem. We offer a fully transferable warranty, unmatched in our area. Contact DBS, your all things basement-y company, for a free, no-obligation estimate. Call or visit us online. DBS, helping your family have a healthy, safe, and comfortable home.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. With over 40 filtration systems, including the world's best softener, no one filters more than Culligan Water. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
In recent times, we've witnessed the brave faces of many people all over the world. Now, it's your turn to be one of them. Memorial Blood Centers is building a local and national supply of convalescent plasma to treat patients with serious or immediately life-threatening COVID-19 infections. If you have recovered from COVID-19 or tested positive for the antibodies, we need your help. To donate convalescent plasma, visit nbc.org. If you can't give convalescent plasma, you can still save lives by giving blood.
It's the season for streaming and the perfect time to power up all your devices with Extreme Internet. Call today and save with prices as low as $19.99 a month for 1 year. Go dashing through your shows with amazing speeds from 60 meg up to 1 gig, powerful in-home Wi-Fi, and 99.99% network reliability. Enjoy the gift of high-speed entertainment for as low as $19.99 a month for 1 year. Dial 844-EXTREME2.
I don't think any other year is ever going to be like 2020. I never thought that I would go through something like this ever in my life. This pandemic's not a isolated thing to our country or to our state or to our city. This is something that's affecting the world, and that just shows really how interconnected we all are. And I think that's why news is so important, because news is kind of like that lifeline to kind of bring that information out and bring us all together.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
It's a new year and the perfect time to catch up on All Rise.
Being a judge means being patient and fair. Don't blink now.
It's a new year and maybe we should start doing things differently.
The court, in fact, abused its power. I need to attack the court in the interest of justice. That's all.
Never boring, Carmichael. We all just have to keep the faith.
Watch All Rise tonight on CBS or stream anytime.
For coverage that matters most to you, tune to CBS3.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show!
Now, the CBS3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, as Kristen put it behind the scenes just a minute or so ago, past couple of days around our region have been like living in a postcard. On Saturday with a bright blue sky, a lot of towns had that beautiful hoarfrost, that white frost that stuck onto everything. Now this evening, up around Canyon, Bobby Perkla sends us this picture, which at first I thought was just, a bad iris or a bad white balance on the camera. No, pink sky at night. Sailor's delight? Yeah, why not? Even though Lake Nichols there is frozen over. So even with a cloudier sky, you can still manage beautiful conditions here in our area. And now, of course, we'll talk about the conditions coming our way for the week ahead after this quick look at what's going on in downtown Ashland. There were a few snow flurries there earlier in the day, but even for that town, most of those flurries have passed away. There's still a chance for a couple more tonight in the UP, but otherwise we may dry up for the next week, but probably not clear up. We're not going to really have high pressure or low pressure. We'll be in between perhaps until Saturday. Right now, though, at the airport in Duluth, 25 degrees, 85% for the relative humidity with a west wind 9 miles per hour, and air pressure holding steady on the lower side, 29.86 inches of mercury. And of course, that's because it was a trough of lower pressure that brought us the clouds today and a little bit of light snow that we got. But we are breaking up clouds, at least for the overnight, even though they'll start to fill in again as early as tomorrow. Current temperatures, upper peninsula, upper 20s, and upper 20s to lower 30s here in northwestern Wisconsin. Minnesota numbers are similar, going from the upper 20s in places like Ely to 30 straight up down around Cloquet, and most everybody else in between. Even towards Grand Rapids, though, we go a little bit warmer than that, and that's the gist of the week ahead. Temperatures will be warmer than the normal of 19, but just a little bit under 32. So I think we'll keep the snow that we have, and the ice hopefully won't weaken too much either, because a lot of folks are out there enjoying that stuff. All right, Doppler map right now. There goes that line of light snows from the trough of lower pressure, and filling in behind, well, neither a high nor a low, because the nearest high is well down to the south, so it's helping to create a cloudier side up to the north. And then this low pressure system coming our way, it'll be held at bay by that high, perhaps until Saturday. So what I'm getting at is from now until Friday, we may have a cloudier sky, but dry conditions and warmer than normal. Finally, by Saturday, a chance for light snow, but the chance at this stage of the game stands at only 30%. Forecast tonight in Minnesota says partly cloudy sky with lows from 15 to 22. And in Wisconsin and Michigan, low temps there, 17 to 22. Dry in Wisconsin, but flurries could still pop up in the UP. Tomorrow, partly sunny for Wisconsin and Michigan. High temps near 30 for Minnesotans. I think the range will go about 25 to 29 with a partly sunny sky. And now here comes that extended forecast, keeping in mind our normal high is about 18, 19. We'll be going 28, 29 for a while, and then 24, 25 to finish. Warmer than normal for all zones for all counts, and a cloudier sky for most days. But really, it looks like the only chance for any precip out of those clouds, Kristen, will be Saturday with that fairly low 30% chance.
All right, that was a beautiful picture you showed. We really lucked out this weekend. Wow, all the sky, the frost, everything was just gorgeous.
Yep, and no big major weather problems to hamper us.
Yep, even better. Thanks, Dave. Skiers, on your mark, get set, and get ready for some changes at this year's 47th annual American Birkebeiner Race in Cable, Wisconsin. To keep COVID-19 numbers down, race officials had to make some big changes this year, including some that could hurt some businesses that rely on the big crowd. CBS 3's Leanne Valdez explains.
People want to be outside.
As Mother Nature works on perfecting the course for the 47th annual American Birkebeiner in Cable, Wisconsin,
There's enough for some really good skiing.
Berkey officials are working tirelessly to make sure this year's race goes on without a hitch.
First and foremost, we need to make sure that everyone that comes is safe. Secondly, the community is safe.
Between spectators and athletes, the Berkey usually draws in 30,000 people, which is why officials added multiple COVID-19 precautions to prevent the spread. The race will be spread out over 5 days this year. Only 1,500 skiers allowed per day.
It allows us to really reduce the numbers each day.
There will be no warming tents or transportation for skiers.
One of the neat things is actually we'll be able to transmit to people's radios, have a little local frequency, if you will, so they can sit in their cars and wait to find out exactly when it's their time.
Spectators will not be allowed, and the race had to cut down on volunteers out on the course.
Instead of having people there handing you food and water, the staff has come up with some really innovative ideas on how to distribute water.
And for the first time ever, the Berkey will not only start in Cable, it will end there too, leaving Hayward businesses like Outdoor Ventures having to get creative about how to draw people in.
I don't think that we're going to have the huge crowds that we've had, but I'm sure there's people that are going to be coming downtown.
Outdoor Ventures says they, along with others, are staying optimistic.
I know downtown Hayward, as a community, is looking at getting events for that weekend as well to stimulate people to come down and buy and shop in our main street.
If people still don't feel safe, they did create a virtual race option that should be available in a couple of days. The Berkey events will take place in the last week of February. Coming up in sports, big day for high school athletes in Minnesota as practices officially return. Sports is up next.
509 FXR, HJC, and Climb Snow Apparel at RJ Sport and Cycle.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northlands still to this day. From environmental issues to economics and so much more. Join me, Kristen Baki, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining, a fair and unbiased report that answers the tough questions surrounding the world of mining.
Eye on Mining with Kristen Baki. Tuesdays at 10 only on live local CBS3. Brought to you by Iron Mining Association.
Everything that happens on a day-to-day basis in terms of news, no matter what happens in news, weather is always constant, weather is always changing as well. So it's still an important role as the meteorologist to kind of still stay grounded and to kind of just know that role and what to take and kind of just make sure you're delivering what's the most important for your viewers. But then also I like to touch base on the national things. All of those news stories also tie in with weather stories because they do go kind of hand in hand.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night. Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
One more step in the direction of normalcy. Winter sports are back in action in the state of Minnesota. Today was the first chance for high school and other youth athletes to get back to practice after the state relaxed its COVID-19 restrictions. So we find CBS3's Brian Campo live at Duluth Heritage Sports Center. Brian, there is live hockey going on behind you. The Duluth East boys hockey team is practicing right now. What is the atmosphere over there like?
Yeah, Kelly, I feel like a kid at a candy store. My excitement level is through the roof as high school hockey makes its return here in Minnesota. And I can assure you that I'm not the only one smiling through masks, out wishing I was out on the ice as the players behind me are actually scrimmaging right now. And although it will be a much different looking season, head coach Mike Randolph says it just feels so good to be back out on the ice. Following last week's announcement by the Minnesota Department of Health, winter sports like hockey got the okay to resume again, but with some new safety guidelines. Instead of traditional 25-game season, hockey teams are tentatively set for 18 games ending in late March. Players must wear masks at all times during practices and games. They also have to be suited up outside the arena. All in all, Randolph says the team is just grateful to be back out playing together as a group again.
It could be a lot worse. We could still have a pause going on and not even be starting today. So we're just anxious to get on the ice and get going, and I know the players are as well.
Also, according to guidelines, there can't be more than 25 people practicing at once, and spectators are not allowed. Players are also asked to avoid locker rooms, showers, and carpooling. As practice continues behind me here, like I said, they are scrimmaging currently right now, day 1 of 2 of tryouts for the Greyhounds. We will hear from players tonight on how they feel about playing hockey with a mask and getting the 2021 season of hockey underway. But for now, Kelly, I'll send things back to you.
All right, thank you, Ryan. And I got to say, Ryan, I'm just as excited as you are. And you mentioned you want to get out there. I'm going to have you leave that to the Greyhounds. I've seen you skate, buddy. So let's stick to reporting there. Thanks, Ryan. Well, the second half of the Bulldog hockey season is officially off and running. UMD split their first 2 games outside the NCHC pod against St. Cloud State over this past weekend. We have consequently been dropped in the USCHO poll. In today's latest rankings, UMD is down to number 5, while St. Cloud stayed put right behind them at number 6. The Bulldogs and Huskies will meet for a rematch series in Duluth this weekend. Both Jackson Cates and Wyatt Kaiser were nominees for NCHC Player of the Week awards for their performances in St. Cloud. And on the basketball court, it's been a great start to 2021 for the Bulldog men's basketball team off the court. They've run into some bad fortune. However, UMD series at Minot State, scheduled for this Friday and Saturday, have officially been canceled due to COVID-19 testing protocols. They've now had 3 of their first 4 games canceled after their game against Winona State this past Sunday was canceled off due to a positive test within the Winona program. The games will not be rescheduled. UMD will now be idle until their next scheduled series, when they host 2 games against University of Mary on January 15th and 16th. Well, and some good news in the world of college athletics today. The NCAA confirmed that the 2021 Division I Men's Basketball Championship will be played entirely within Indiana. In fact, most of the 67 games will take place in Indianapolis. Selection Sunday will be March 14th. The Final Four is scheduled to begin on April 3rd, with a champion being crowned on April 5th. The teams will all stay in controlled environments with required COVID-19 testing. Practice courts will be set at the Indiana Convention Center, which is connected to the hotel where most of the teams will stay.
You know, last year we had to rip March Madness away from all the teams and all the fans at the very last minute. We all know it was the right thing to do, but it was also an incredibly painful thing to do. And this year we want to make sure we deliver on the promise of March Madness.
Kristen, this was definitely probably the biggest heartache we had last spring when that March Madness tournament went down. We're both very big basketball fans.
Yes. And now we get to watch it.
We get to have it back.
It's going to be great.
I'm excited.
Thanks for bringing the good news tonight, Kelly.
You're welcome, Kristen.
Tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, a week from today, Superior students will be heading back to the classroom after many months of at-home learning. Tonight, we're learning from the Superior School District's administrator what precautions will be in place to keep students safe while they learn. Dave, let's get a final look at the weather.
Well, tonight we'll get a break in the clouds. It should be partly cloudy for most places after a little light snow today. But then as early as tomorrow, we fill back towards a partly sunny sky. And then we become mostly cloudy from Wednesday through Friday. There is a very slight chance for snow come Saturday, and that seems to be our only go-around this week. Temperature-wise, we'll be warmer than normal all week long, both for the highs and for the lows.
Thanks for joining us. See you at 10.